We used to get rip-roaring thunderstorms in Michigan. The weather would change in a matter of 20 minutes. You could have just a really nice day, and then suddenly you have this That's my world down there. Let's see. Now Ray's, you've seen Ray's Salvage and Croissants. That was a guy that helped me at GE. He was a maintenance fella. We got the Marquette prison over here in the end. Delightful place. We have coal mines here. That's just made out of styrofoam and stuff. I've named certain cities after my buddies at work. There's Gunville after Pat Gunn, and Harmondale after Dave Harmon. He's since passed away. And you can see a lot of it's unfinished yet. I got buildings that are going to need to go in there. It just takes a while to think about what you're going to do and how you're going to plan it out. This is the main town, see? So you're going to be looking like that. And I can have a main street here, and then your eyes are going to be forced into this town. Street lights here, down the street, Black Street here, crossing here, up onto the hill, and then up to the hill, and then down this way. I worked at General Motors 5 years. I worked at GE for 20 years. I've been building this railroad for 30 years. I'm the big whiz. I'm the big cheese, the head honcho. I can do anything I want. What you're looking at is a mass of colors, of hints, of hues. By and by, the railroad gets done, but there are a lot of unfinished areas down there, and I'm just waiting for that inspiration, to get me started on it. I grew up in Flint, Michigan, born in 1946. Dad used to take us to the train station in Flint, my brother and I. He liked trains too. So the trains would go by, and of course we were little squirts then, and we'd look up at the boxcars and the freight engines and stuff. All my kids are represented on my railroad, as is my wife. I named a city for her, Hammondsport.
Everybody I know knows my maiden name. He still calls me Hammond. I need yellow on there. Not so much. If you look straight at a cluster of stars, it will pretty much disappear. But if you look slightly to the left or right of it, you'll see them. And painting is kind of like that. You just aren't quite there, and the brain wants it. It wants it to be there. I love the play of light. I could go outside and look at the play of light on the world all the time and never get tired of it, especially the golden hour at sunset or early in the morning. The eye doctor told me I had a little shred of macular degeneration, which I was horrified by, but it's not too bad, and it probably won't be. Oops, I keep seeing little mistakes. Like that on the edge there.
So I can unplug it, walk down here. While it still runs, plug in down here, and I can start and stop it. So the 35 industries, they ship to each other on this railroad, and they also ship to the outside world. You're gonna pick up the car at Maine Cafe, and you're gonna set it out at Hoof and Mouth Beef Company. It's empty. In other words, they're looking for an empty car, and that car eventually is gonna go to Millington. And they're looking for chicken parts here again, and they're gonna ship those to Gunville, which is down at the other end of the railroad. So you've got to schedule your freights, to pick up those empty cars or loads so that you can get another car in there. That's what makes it difficult. This car's sitting there, it's been sitting, it's supposed to only sit there for 2 days, and that rascal's been there for 4 days. How come? Well, you look on your list here and your timings, uh-oh. The reason it sat there is because there was no freight coming by to pick it up. So you have to make up another freight to pick up that car and any other cars that'll be on that line that need to be transported. That's how the system works. All the time it drives you nuts. Oh, you piece of shit. Sometimes you find yourself quietly shutting off the lights and going upstairs and sitting down and have a beer. Think about what happened to you today because it didn't come out right. You find yourself getting online or going down to the hobby shop to quickly pick up another 5 or 6 flat cars because you're short. That's a good excuse, Ah! Everybody imagines themselves as a fireman or a pilot or a leader of a musical band or something. Railroaders like to think of themselves as engineers or a conductor, riding the rails.
I had this distinct impression that I had just met the person I was going to marry someday.
We went out for a hamburger and a beer.
And I thought, so that's who it's going to be.
We didn't have a lot of money when we were first married. Most kids don't.
But it was this house or no house for a year because we were so poor.
It was in terrible shape. Really bad shape. I looked downstairs and saw the size of that completely empty cellar. And, you think, how big a radius of track can I squeeze in there? I didn't tell Jean that, but...
We did split up once, having $50 left in the checkbook and knowing bills were coming and not knowing how we were going to manage. I remember rocking in a chair thinking, how are we going to feed our kids this week? So we planted the ones on that side. We planted those along there to get full sun. We planted these, and the kids could play like it's a little secret hideout. But mostly, I string a hammock from there to there. I didn't want it to be all open. I want it to be like my own private little sanctuary. So that's what we've turned it into.
truth is kind of a tough thing to find these days. You're going to get a slant. You're going to get a soundbite. Okay. Something that colors your thought.
Actually infringe national security concerns. This is the party. This is the politics of the party right now. And if you're not willing to do that, you won't be around.
So it's not just for an audience of one, it's for their district. It's the new no collusion. We're going to take a look at the president's new phrase to defend himself in the impeachment inquiry. Stay with us.
I think things changed here, made people sarcastic. When President Eisenhower came out and got caught in a giant lie about Francis Gary Powers, the U-2 incident. After that, we didn't trust the presidency anymore. That was a shocking thing. It was a shocking thing to me. People became suspicious. The doctor told me one time that the best thing I could do for myself was to go to the gym. See how you feel. Getting up at 4:30 in the morning, thawing out your truck, and getting the ice off it can be a real drag. I'm not going to kid you. And I can tell you, it keeps your mind straight. It makes you untense.
Speaker, I'd also argue that Article 1 does not say you can do whatever you want to do. And the Constitution says that in our founding fathers.
But then again, we didn't commit a crime either, right? Yeah, right.
The times I found each and every one of us in this room and in our country to pay attention to how we protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.
You have to be astute. You have to be aware. You have to be cognizant. And none of the things are straight. Sometimes the parts just don't get molded right. They don't go together properly. Oh, thanks, baby.
As more witnesses testify in the impeachment inquiry, we're getting information about the president's actions in the Ukraine scandal. Did pressure from one of Trump's Republican allies force his hand on military aid? We'll discuss next.
Why don't we do something else? This ought to be a Kentucky Fried junk pile. My railroad is a gentle one. They're simply miniature people that are at peace with each other. There's no bigotry down there. None. Zero. I won't allow it. Too bad the world isn't like that, huh?
There was a tiny little woods and a cow pasture that you couldn't get lost in. Idyllic. I had named sections of the woods. There was the swamp, and there was the cathedral pines. I learned to sit really still, and everything would come alive back around me, and I would see so much more stuff. One time I actually reached down and picked up a rabbit. He screamed, and I dropped him. I didn't know rabbits could scream. I used to picture going off and living by myself in the woods, in a cabin, and being self-sufficient. And I thought, if the world goes to pieces and there's wars, that's what I'll do. I'll survive. And then I read On the Beach about how a nuclear war would wipe everybody out. That was when I was about 12. That was an existential depression for a while, thinking, can't do this by myself.
They have never been able to contain, fully stop a fire that's being fed by Santa Ana winds.
What is there, more stars than grains of sand in the world? We're like a little tiny ant in a river of history. It takes me a couple days to realize what I don't like about it, except that one day when I hated it, because it just looked like a bunch of bread loaves lined up. I'm not sure right now what to do. I might have to take some time and think about it.
Let's see here. I don't think you really take the railroad out of the railroader. It's always with you in some form. I guess we're going to cross here, right? You want to walk?
Yeah, you can, but I want to get this roof over here for a minute. We're like train tracks, and we both have our little thing that we want to do, and we live parallel, and we look across and say, what are you doing? Pardon me. It's the best. Sunrise or sunset to take pictures.
Those hops?
Huh?
Those hops?
Just a second, I can't hear you. The colors are just so vibrant. The shadows are long. I like the way the light strikes something or doesn't. You force yourself to really see it. That's gonna work.
I see these guys outside of Bangor all the time. They'll take a rubber mold and they go out to a pile of rocks and they'll paint the rubber mold, 5 or 6 coats of rubber mold. You gotta put it on, you gotta wait till it dries. So you can peel it off and then bring it back and pour it up in plaster of Paris. Now, does that make sense to you? Jeez. I'll go out and get a real rock.
Oops.
And you know what? Those look pretty zippy.
Oops. Oh, come on. Focus. Has an interesting scent with the tide out. Hey.
I wonder how much they land here a day.
I don't know. But last time we were here, one of the lobstermen said, "You're taking pictures of Maine?" She says, "Yeah, I'm going to paint him." "Oh, can I have it?" And
Oh,
yeah, he was very nice. He posed.
he did.
Yeah, it was cool. I don't know. It's something so peaceful just to be in your own head. Either traveling or through a book. I think there's good enoughness. Not to always want more. I want less. I want serenity. Just enough to get by, and that's good.
That, I think, is what he wants, so it is not a surprise that he would make some of these comparisons. Particularly, it's not just about the personalities, it's also about the fact that these, again, were two of the most wanted terrorists in the world. Names that are household names, familiar to probably most Americans. Bin Laden certainly, and I think
Can't fight everything and be in turmoil all the time. I don't want my last 10 or 20 years to be that way. And it's kind of hard to do that with the TV on all the time.
I did this. This is something that I accomplished while I was in office.
I don't like it. But I'm not going to deny him his likes.
It is, I think, not a surprise that he would speak for 40 minutes about this. He did talk about, I think you played that there, Yasmin, if I could hear correctly, the idea that he foreshadowed
When I grew up, I can remember the main thing that concerned me and all my friends was this constant drumbeat of nuclear annihilation, of a strike, counter-strike by Russia. It permeated everywhere, and it scared the living crap out of us kids. I can remember during the Cuban Missile Crisis how frightened I was and astonished that my mom would send me to school knowing that there could be a nuclear strike that day. But now, one person can inflict multiple times of damage than when I was a kid. After a couple of years of college, I decided to join the Peace Corps, and strangely, I was accepted to India. I worked in hybrid seed production. The idea was that I get a pump and sell it to my farmers for 1% interest so that I could take that money, pay off the pump, and take the interest and buy another pump. One day I was on a bus going to Agra. We got out in the middle of the laterites, which is a kind of an unsettled area in India. And sure enough, two guys stood up in the back of the bus and, okay, stop the bus. This is the holdup. Guys come out of the bushes and stuff with their guns, and they would invite people to give them their money. Well, it got down to me, and I thought this fellow looked awful familiar. He said, well, hello, Mr. Harley, how you doing? I said, well, geez, looks like Didar Singh, you know, one of my farmers. And it was. You going on vacation here, going maybe to Agra? Yeah. You got your leave money on you? Yeah. Well, never mind, you keep your dough. But he pointed at the guy next to me, but you give me your dough. Now, here's the conundrum. When I got back to Gwalior after the stick-up, do I say anything to anybody? Because I know that guy is going to come in next week with his dough, and I would get my money that way. So I said nothing. I think once you see that, it makes you a little more tolerant of people. I've named a ship after my brother, and that holds 74 tons of whoopie pies. Similarly, you know, if you do me wrong, you wind up, I've got a cemetery for you guys on the end of town.
I like my sister's brothel. She's the last person in the world that would ever have a brothel. She thought it was a bakery.
When the children were small, they would say, Papa, I want you to tell us a bedtime story. Okay. Once upon a time, there were 3 bears that lived in the woods. Now, Papa Bear,
Little Red Riding Hood,
ran a hot car ring in Chicago. And he said, oh my goodness, somebody cheesed me. I've got to take it on the lam and get out of here until the heat cools off. And he slammed the door as he ran out. And that was 36 years ago. And they'd say, wait a minute,
But
that's not right.
How it goes. Yes, it does. You just read the wrong one.
The kids would then tell me the story of the three bears. And by, after 25 minutes or so, they were tired and off to bed they went. Of course, with 4 kids, you know, it's kind of difficult sometimes, but as finances became available, I'd add a section here when I could and add a section there when I could.
He's just happy building it. His little empire downstairs. I couldn't really paint in my 20s. I needed space around my head. For a long time, there'd be a little tiny piece that I'd like. It's only just fairly recently I'm starting to get a few that I can't say hate, but if I say I don't hate it, that's a good step.
Oh, okay. I just want to get this over with.
Hello, hi, Jean. Hello, Jean.
Hello, Pooh Jean. I'm Harley.
I'm husband.
I'm pleased to meet you. Nice to see you, dear. How you doing, man? We had a dinner party down on Blue Hill. A fellow sent me an email, and he wanted to start a railroad.
No, I take what is put together.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Nice.
She likes Cabernet also.
We're just really content to be here, and it never gets boring.
Okay, I'll take that for you. These are budgies.
At least you know what they are.
Yeah. Did you have these in India, Har? Yeah.
Now tell me about your railroad here.
I'm totally getting started.
You're using HO scale because it seems to be the right scale for you.
Right, it's because I bought $350 worth of HO from my neighbor.
Creativity, I don't know that you can teach it. I think it happens. You look at something and it happens. So how much space do you have?
From sea to shining sea here.
So you're probably gonna go 18-inch radius, I would guess. I mean, you could probably squeeze in 22, but you anticipate a yard someplace?
Don't have that in mind yet, but certainly if...
Well, if it's point to point, I can tell him the technical part of it, but the actual creative process that you're going to use for your railroad is going to happen because you decide what's real and what's not real.
I'm so excited. When I saw you, oh man, that's the person I need to get to know.
A couple hours up to the train line
Are those magic markers that are glittery gold?
Oh yeah.
You're on a third-class ticket, huh?
I'm just gonna have straight up water. I'm driving.
Stretching. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Entitled.
What are she's drinking red wine.
I don't care.
What are you doing?
I was thinking I could write this story about a person who hides in a cave in a median strip of a highway near a convenience store.
We'll go over on this side, honey.
That place that nobody can find. They were nice people, and we talk, and then you go home and you're exhausted, just from being out and visiting and being pleasant. There's something about it that is draining.
throughout my railroad. There are projects that are, say, 80% finished, and I cannot finish those until it feels right to me on the inside. You got this acorn of idea, you know, inside you. You gotta put some water on it and stick it in the ground and watch it grow into a tree or watch it grow into an idea that you think about. I'm a CEO of a railroad, the business manager of a company that's hauling freight. It's a bother. You're in the cab of that engine, and you're hauling freight or you're hauling passengers. And then you're going to proceed to the next station. And I'm not ashamed to say it. Yeah, you're a child.
There's different periods of time when I would sink under with quite terrible depression. I did a little chart with a graph of when I was a kid. They went up, 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 and then poof. And I thought, why was that? And then I realized that it was because I had a predatory college teacher. I was so naive. I was invited to have him paint my portrait, and I believed him, so I went there. And he did do that, and then put the moves on, and I had no defense against him. And he had the audacity, when I was about to go home, to ask me if I wanted the portrait. And I said, absolutely not. Then he had a party, invited all the art students to it, and had it propped up. So I drank until he told somebody, take her outside. She's had too much. And I thought, yeah. You feel it physically right down through your body, like you're twisted up. And there's times when I'd see the world like it was made of gray cardboard, and you can't sleep. Like, I'd tell my kids I was sick and go to bed for the weekend because I needed a break from all the chaos. I'd be reading a book and they'd come to the door, and I think I felt guilty because I was such a flirt that I walked right into the trap. It's hard to explain, but when I would come out of it, I would suddenly see color. I was driving down the road, and I remember thinking, oh, that's what that was. It was way before Me Too stuff came up. I just recognized it. That wasn't my fault. Everything looked beautiful on the way home. And it was an epiphany to me to see that. It's my job. It's not Harley's fault. It's not anybody else's fault. If I'm not happy, that's my problem. And I need to deal with it. That was nice for you. See, I put this thing. I don't know if you saw that or not. No, I didn't. Am I not a friend with you on Facebook?
Probably not.
Jeez.
Well, let's do it. Listen, don't try to get familiar, Hammond.
Yeah. Anyway, she liked the dog picture, so. Jeez.
come down. Maybe you have a burger at Bull Hooey's. That's the way I want the world to be. That's an expression of joy for me. I will never finish it.
I'm not anywhere near where I want to be. It's okay to say I don't know or I don't have an answer for that. That's a very freeing feeling, is to let it go. I should tell you, this ring my mother gave me that was my grandmother's. Let me turn this on. It reminds me of family, history, and to be arty, and don't be afraid to have balls. Sorry about that.
Somebody will buy this house when I'm long gone, and the kids don't want to be around here in the railroad business or something. The railroad won't last forever. It's the natural order of things. And that's about the size of my railroad. Well, Hannah, this examination is not gonna hurt too much. All right.
Let's see. See, the modeling stuff just makes it look like trees far away, right?
Right.
Not like, you know, it's a real place.
Boy, that looks nice. Hmm.